Good day, everyone. Today we are examining the scenario of Sarah, a regular customer at Freshmart, who suffered injuries after slipping on a liquid spill in the store. The employees were aware of the hazard but failed to address it by either cleaning the spill or placing warning sign. As a result, Sarah sustained physical injuries, including a sprained ankle and incurred financial losses due to medical bills and lost wages. The key legal question is whether Freshmart breached its duty of care to Sarah under the implied terms of their customer service contract and whether Sarah can claim remedies under contract law for her injuries and financial losses. The parties involved are Sarah, which is the plaintiff, and Freshmart, the defendant. Main question: did Freshmart breach its duty of care owed to Sarah as a customer? Can Sarah claim remedies under contract law principle for injuries and financial losses? The claim by the plaintiff are breach of implied terms of safety under the customer service contract and seeks compensation for physical and financial damage due to negligence. The defendant's arguments are Freshmart asserts that they exercised reasonable care and that Sarah's injuries resulted from an unfortunate negligence on their part. Claims that the spill was not reported in time for employees to act, or that Sarah failed to exercise adequate caution. The next thing is about main legal issues. Contractual terms: was there an implied term in the contract requiring Freshmart to provide a safe environment? Secondly, did Freshmart breach any explicit or implied obligations to ensure customer safety? And lastly, can the injuries and financial losses Sarah sustained be directly linked to Freshmart's actions and inactions? So, for the remedies and damages, what remedies are available if a breach is proven? For example, damages: can Sarah claim compensation for pain suffering and financial losses as part of contract law? The central legal issues include whether an implied term existed in the customer service contract that obligated Freshmart to maintain a safe environment for its customers. We must also determine whether Freshmart's failure to address the spill constitutes a breach of the implied term and if Sarah's injuries and financial losses can be directly attributed to this breach. Furthermore, we will consider the remedies available to Sarah, such as compensation for pain, suffering, and economic losses. Okay, so the next slide is about legal principle, Malaysian contract law. Under Malaysian contract law, several provisions of the Contracts Act 1950 are relevant. Section 10 established that agreements enforceable by law include implied terms such as ensuring the safety of customers. The similar case is Ho Seng Ong versus Francis Alfred Logan in 1932. In this case, the plaintiff suffered injuries due to the unsafe condition of the premises owned by the defendant. The court found that the defendant owed a duty of care to ensure that the premises were reasonably safe for individuals who entered under an implied agreement. This implied duty arose from the relationship between the plaintiff and the defendant as a provider of services or facilities. Section 38 specifies that contractual obligations must be performed as agreed, while Section 56 provides for remedies when an essential term of the contract is breached. Businesses such as Freshmart owe an implied duty to ensure their premises are safe for customers. Additionally, Section 74 allows for compensation for any loss caused by a breach of contract, which could cover Sarah's medical expenses and lost income. Next, we move to legal principles for the English contract law. English contract law similarly recognizes the concept of implied terms. For instance, the case of Wilson versus Best Travel in 1993 highlights the obligation of service providers to ensure the safety within reasonable expectation. Remedies under English law aim to compensate for actual harm caused by a breach. Financial compensation can include medical expenses, lost income, and emotional distress, provided the plaintiff can establish causation and breach of contract. Next, we move on to the application of Malaysian law. Applying Malaysian law to this case, Freshmart likely breached the implied term of safety by failing to address the spill despite being aware of it. Section 56 of the Contracts Act 1950 would categorize this as a breach of an essential term. Sarah can seek compensation under Section 74 for her medical expenses and lost wages. However, the extent of Freshmart's liability may depend on whether the evidence shows negligence and whether Sarah contributed to the incident by not exercising sufficient caution. Under English law, fresh marks in action also constitute a breach of the implied term of maintaining a safe environment for customers. Sarah would be entitled to compensation for her injuries and financial losses if she can establish a causal link between the breach and her damages. However, if the court deems the breach minor, Sarah's compensation may be limited to actual expenses rather than extensive damages. Freshman might also raise the defense of contributory negligence, arguing that Sarah was not sufficiently cautious. Lastly, we move to the decision part. Firstly, we focus on Malaysian law. Freshmart likely breached an implied term of safety by failing to clean the spill or warn customers, making them liable for Sarah's injuries. Remedies would focus on compensatory damage, including medical bills and lost wages. For the English law part, the breach of an implied term of safety is clear, but the extent of liability depends on proving causation and assessing potential contributory negligence. Compensation would be similar, focusing on actual losses sustained by Sarah. In conclusion, under both Malaysian and English contract law, Freshmart's failure to address the hazard likely constitutes a breach of implied terms. Sarah is entitled to compensatory damage for her injuries and financial losses, although the amount may be reduced if contributory negligence is proven. This case underscores the critical responsibility of businesses to maintain safe environments to fulfill their contractual obligations and avoid liability.